Grandma Rose's Endless Questions. The small house on the outskirts of a quiet western town lay still under the fading evening sun. The window panes reflected the pale sky, while inside the living room, on her familiar armchair, Grandma Rose sat motionless. Her silver hair framed a fragile face, her thin hands trembling slightly on her lap. Her clouded eyes blinked now and then, as though trying to hold on to fragments of memories that kept slipping away. For months, Rose's memory had been fragile. Her stories often broke off mid-sentence. At times, she forgot where she was standing or confused the present with long-faded pasts. But what left her family most unsettled was her habit of repeating the same questions over and over. She might ask something, hear the answer, and then, as if the words had vanished into thin air, ask it again just moments later. That afternoon, while Ethan, her 14-year-old grandson, sat at the table doing his math homework, Rose suddenly turned toward him, tilting her head innocently. "What's your name again?" Ethan looked up and smiled gently. "I'm Ethan, Grandma." She nodded, lips curling into a soft smile, but only minutes later, her voice rang out again. "What's your name again?" Before Ethan could respond, his father Daniel walked into the room. A flicker of frustration crossed his face. "Mom, you just asked. His name is Ethan. How can you forget so quickly?" Rose flinched, her gentle eyes shadowed by embarrassment. She quickly looked away, her whole frame shrinking in silence. From the kitchen, Linda, Daniel's wife, spoke up warily. "Honey, it's really exhausting. Your mom keeps forgetting everything. Yesterday, she cooked and doubled the salt. None of us could eat it. I know she doesn't mean to, but living like this is so tiring." Daniel sighed, saying nothing more. Frustration churned inside him, but there was nowhere to place it. Ever since his mother began slipping into forgetfulness, the household had grown tense. Dinner tables fell into silence. Her innocent questions were often met with sighs or frowns. Ethan quietly watched it all. He looked at his grandmother, the woman who once told him endless fairy tales, who took him to the park, who soothed his terrors, now sitting small and frightened of her own fading memory. A wave of deep compassion surged within him. Just then, the television flared to life with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. The host's voice boomed with cheerful energy. "Now, here comes your first question." Ethan suddenly chuckled. He glanced at his grandma, then leapt up, striking a playful pose like a game show host. "Welcome to Endless Questions. Question number 1. What's my name? A. Superman. B. Ethan. C. Harry Potter. D. Justin Bieber." The air shifted instantly. Rose stared at him blankly for a moment, then burst into laughter, a rare, ringing laugh like silver bells. She clasped her hands in mock concentration, then exclaimed, "B. Ethan." "Correct." Ethan clapped wildly, his face glowing with excitement. Rose laughed so hard her frail shoulders shook, her eyes shining with childlike joy. From the kitchen, Linda froze in surprise, while Daniel paused mid-step. They watched in astonishment. The same woman who just moments ago had shrunk with shame was now radiant with laughter. From that day forward, Ethan turned all of his grandmother's repeated questions into a kind of game show. Whenever she asked, "What's your name again?" or "Where are you going?" he would slip into his mock host voice, offering for choices. If she picked the wrong one, the punishment was to sing a silly song or do a chicken dance together. Soon, laughter began to fill the house that had so often been weighed down by frustration. At first, Linda merely observed, shaking her head now and then, but faced with the infectious laughter, she couldn't help but smile. Gradually, she joined in, clapping and cheering whenever Rose answered correctly. Daniel, who so often snapped in irritation, found himself chuckling when he saw his mother hopping awkwardly through a chicken dance after picking the wrong answer. The home transformed. What once felt suffocating became warm and lighthearted. Rose no longer curled into herself with shame. Instead, she eagerly awaited the next question from her grandson. Then one rainy afternoon, just as Ethan was about to launch another round of the game, Rose suddenly gripped his hand tightly. Her cloudy eyes gleamed with an unusual sharpness. Her voice, trembling but steady, whispered, "Even if I forget sometimes, in my heart, I'll always remember you." Ethan froze, his chest tightening. He looked into those deep eyes and saw not confusion, but love, clear and unbroken. At the doorway, Daniel and Linda stood still, silent. Daniel stepped forward slowly, sitting down beside his mother. He took her frail hand, the same hand that once guided him through childhood, and his voice cracked. "Mom, I'm sorry. I've snapped at you so many times. I was scared, watching you change, and all I knew was to be angry. But I understand now. Even if you forget, we will still be here." Linda knelt close, eyes brimming. "Mom, I'm sorry too. I was selfish, thinking only of my own exhaustion. But Ethan taught us something: with just a little patience and love, everything can turn into joy." Tears rolled down Rose's wrinkled cheeks. She smiled, pulling her son, her daughter-in-law, and her grandson into her arms. In that embrace, they understood something simple: illness could steal memories, but never their bond. From then on, the endless questions game became a family ritual. Whenever Rose asked, Daniel would don his host persona, Linda would cheer enthusiastically, and Ethan invented new rewards: a hug, a dance, or a warm cup of tea. Their little house rang with laughter, and Rose, though her memory faded by the day, was surrounded by unshakable love. One evening after a round of the game, Linda let out a soft sigh, though her face wore a gentle smile. "You know, I realized something. One day, when those questions stop coming, I'll probably miss them so much." Daniel nodded, eyes glistening. He knew his mother would one day leave them, but at least, for now, they had chosen laughter over resentment. Ethan looked around the dinner table, his father smiling, his mother laughing. His grandmother glowing with happiness, and a fierce hope filled his heart. Memories may fade, but family endures, shining like a flame that never goes out. And those endless, seemingly bothersome questions had become a gift, a reminder to love more while there was still time. That night, their little house echoed with laughter, and within each of their hearts remained a quiet truth: happiness doesn't come from perfection, but from the way we love each other, even when memories are no longer whole.